how the Native American tribes survived harsh winters with no modern tools. How did they survive in difficult conditions, and what did they have to do? You'll learn the truth today.
The winter was more than a season to the Native American tribes. It was a test. A test of strength, patience, and harmony with the land.
Imagine standing beneath endless gray skies, rivers frozen solid, and food running scarce. Yet, for thousands of years, tribes across North America not only survived, they thrived.
Before we begin, take a moment to imagine this. A frozen landscape stretching as far as the eye can see. No heaters, no shelters made of steel or concrete, no modern tools. Yet entire tribes once called this land home. If you find history like this fascinating, make sure to subscribe and join us on this journey through time. Because what you're about to hear reveals a kind of strength and wisdom the modern world has almost forgotten. Long before cities or electricity, the native tribes of the Great Plains faced winters that could freeze rivers solid and bury villages under snow. And still, they thrived. They survived not through luck or magic, but through understanding, a kind of intelligence born from listening to the land. Today, we'll explore how these tribes endured brutal cold, fierce winds, and endless white horizons, all without modern tools. The Great Plains were a vast ocean of grass, endless and open. Summers burned with heat, winters cut with a blade of ice. But to the Lakota, the Cheyenne, the Blackfoot, and the Arapaho, this was home. They knew every season's rhythm, every sign in the sky. Before winter came, scouts would watch the animals. If the birds flew low, or the bison's coats grew thicker than usual, it was a warning. A hard season was coming. They didn't wait for storms to strike. Villages were moved to valleys and wooded riverbanks, where trees and hills blocked the biting wind. They studied the way snow drifted and settled, finding the calmest places to camp. To them, the land was not an enemy. It was a teacher. They learned its moods, and in return, it showed them how to survive. When it came time to build shelter, every detail mattered. Most tribes used teepees, tall, cone-shaped homes made from buffalo hides stretched over wooden poles. In winter, they added a second layer of hides to trap warmth inside. The smoke flaps were tightened, and the base of the teepee was sealed with snow or extra skins to block drafts. Inside, furs lined the floor, keeping the cold earth away from their bodies. In regions where winters grew harsher, some tribes built earth lodges, large, dome-shaped homes covered with grass and packed soil. The thick walls worked like natural insulation. Even during blizzards, warmth stayed trapped within. At the center of each lodge was a small fire, surrounded by stones that absorbed heat and released it slowly through the night. With one small flame, an entire family could stay warm, not through power, but through precision. Their knowledge of fire was art. They knew which would burn slowest, which bark smoked least, and how to feed a flame so it lasted till dawn. It wasn't just survival, it was science, perfected over generations. Clothing was another key to endurance. Buffalo hides were their greatest defense. The outer hide, thick and weatherproof, faced the wind. Underneath, softer furs, rabbit, elk, or deer kept in warmth. Every layer had a purpose. Moccasins were lined with dry grass to trap heat around the feet. And the smell of smoke that clung to their clothing wasn't an accident. It helped waterproof the skins and kept away insects. Every item was made by hand. Every stitch carried meaning. Mothers passed down patterns that were more than just decoration. They were protection, tradition, and memory all woven together. Nothing was wasted. Every part of the animal that gave its life was used for shelter, for warmth, for survival. As winter deepened, food became the next challenge. But the tribes of the plains were never caught off guard. Months before the cold, they began to prepare. Women dried berries, roots, and strips of meat under the hot summer sun. This food became pemmican, a powerful mixture of dried buffalo meat, melted fat, and crushed berries. It could last for months, sometimes years, without spoiling. Just a handful of pemmican was enough to sustain a person through a long journey in the snow. When the land grew silent and herds disappeared, hunters still ventured out, moving quietly through drifts of snow, reading faint hoofprints like words on a page. They knew how to predict the movement of animals by the way snow packed beneath their hooves or the direction of the wind. Buffalo hunts were rare in deep winter, but when they happened, every part of the creature was honored. The meat, the bones, even the sinew for bowstrings and thread. Water, too, came from the land. They melted snow in heated stones or animal stomach containers, conserving every drop. It was slow work, but nothing was taken for granted. Their survival depended not on abundance, but on preparation. Yet what truly kept them alive through the longest nights was not the fire or the food. It was each other. In every tribe, the people moved as one. The elders shared stories that kept memories alive. Children learned lessons through those tales, not just about courage, but about patience and respect for nature. Songs echoed through the lodges, their rhythm steady and strong, carrying warmth through sound alone. When supplies ran low, families shared. When someone fell ill, healers used herbs gathered months before. Every hardship was faced together. They believed that no one could survive winter alone, only through unity. The strength of the tribe came from spirit, not numbers. They knew the land would always test them, but they also believed that every storm had purpose. To them, winter was not an enemy. It was part of life's cycle, the season when the world rested and prepared to begin again. Spiritual balance was at the heart of their endurance. Many tribes viewed the cold season as sacred, a time to reconnect with ancestors and to honor the earth's rest. They recorded the events of each year through something called the winter count, symbols painted on buffalo hides, each mark representing a story or lesson to be remembered. These symbols became living memory, history that spoke in color and image instead of words. Through reflection and ceremony, they found peace in stillness. The snow outside might be endless, the wind cruel, but inside the circle of fire and family, warmth lived on. They saw every winter as a teacher, harsh, yes, but wise. It reminded them that all things come and go, that strength is found not in resistance, but in adaptation. From their ways, we learn something deeper than survival. We learn that resilience isn't built by fighting nature, but by flowing with it. That preparation, patience, and unity can turn the harshest conditions into sacred seasons of growth. And when the first light of spring broke across the plains, they emerged stronger, carrying the lessons of the cold into the warmth of new life. Every hardship had meaning. Every winter was a reminder that endurance itself is a form of gratitude. So, the next time you feel the cold wind on your skin, remember, people once faced that same wind with nothing but hides, fire, and faith. And they lived not in fear, but in rhythm with the earth. That is how the Plains tribe survived, and how their wisdom still speaks across time. Because true survival doesn't come from what we own, it comes from what we understand. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of the Plains tribes, make sure to subscribe to Ancient Horizons. There are many more stories waiting, of ancient knowledge, lost technologies, and the timeless spirit of those who came before us. Until next time, walk gently, and remember the wisdom that still lives beneath our feet.